So today we are going to have the discussions on Shantideva's Shantideva's chapter on patience chapter, which deals with which is the sixth chapter of the 9 chapters, and so here we reached verse 33. Verse 33. So when seeing an enemy or even a friend committing an improper action, by thinking that such things arise from conditions, I shall remain in a happy frame of mind. If things were brought into being by choice, then since no one wishes to suffer, suffering won't occur to any embodied creature. So today we will deal with this verse. We are going to deal with this verse. So when seeing an enemy or even a friend committing an improper actions against you or towards you, by thinking that such things arise from conditions, we already know that all the things arise, produced by conditions. So I shall remain in a happy frame of mind. So this is the best way to maintaining a peaceful state of mind, because it is these destructive emotions which then disturbs the very peaceful calm state of mind. Because when we define this epistemological studies, when we define the destructive emotions, it is defined as the mere occurrence of which then creates the immediate mental disturbances. So any kind of destructive emotions, the mere rises of which then brings unhappy state of mind. So it becomes now it becomes very important not to disturbed by these destructive emotions. Now, how can we be sure that we cannot be disturbed by these destructive emotions? Is realizing and reflecting that conditions, the pain, the pleasurable experiences, the unpleasurable experiences, all rises from the conditions and the aggregation of many factors. So here, for example, we already know the conditions of the suffering. The conditions of the suffering. The conditions of the suffering has no control of its own. The condition of the suffering has no control of its own, and these conditions are again governed by other factors. They have no motivation to produce suffering, and the causes of the suffering are governed by other factors, which in turn are governed by other factors. So there is endless factors and conditions involved in giving rise to one's painful experiences. And in the case of likewise, the person himself, the receiver of the harm, and also the perpetrator. The perpetrator has no intention to develop hatred towards someone, no intention or motivation to develop hatred. Likewise, the suffering, likewise the anger, the jealousy, and the attachment, all these have no motivation to produce their own respective suffering. But then all these come into being purely as a result of the aggregation of many factors. So, for example, just take an example. This flower. This is so this flower. So what? Now what makes? Why do we feel? What makes unhappy state of mind and what makes unhappiness or unhappiness state of mind? For example, what makes this flower beautiful or what makes this flower ugly or not attractive? So we cannot say one petal of leaves makes this flower beautiful or one petal of leaves makes this flower unattractive. Now, if there is now what happens is this a single petal cannot be the only condition, only one condition which makes this flower beautiful or unattractive. So let's say if you take out one petals, all the petals like so this is the final result. There is no beauty involved, there is no attractive quality involved, there is no unattractive quality involved. So we simply notice and see that it is the aggregation of the many factors. The size of the size of this petal is each of the petal, and the shape of each of the petal, the color of each of the petal, So all these leaves, all this make this flower either attractive or unattractive. So now again, so many conditions are involved in making this flower something attractive or something unattractive to our sensorial perception. Now again, one cannot single out what is the fundamental cause which makes this flower either attractive or unattractive. We cannot find out the single cause which makes this flower either beautiful or unattractive. So again, the petals, each of the petals, what makes this color beautiful? Again, many conditions are involved in making this color beautiful. Again, these conditions is again dependent on other factors. If you analyze, it comes to endless. It comes to endless. So we cannot. It is very evident that a single cause cannot give rise to a single result, or single cause cannot give rise to a multiple result or single result. So here, verse number 33, Shantideva's Master Shantideva was trying to say that normally, when somebody harm us, we tend to believe that this is the primary, harmer. Such a person is really the perpetrator, the main cause, the main cause for bringing harm to us. Now, if we use, some kind of analysis, again, we cannot say that person is the primary cause. That person is the only cause. Normally, we believe somebody harm you, and then based on that, you retaliate in a similar manner. We retaliate in a similar manner, not recognizing or identifying the involvement of the many conditions and the application of the many conditions. So we some kind of exchange, continuous process. This process again, that person supported by other, and then like this. So this, in the former verses, Shantideva says, destroying one's anger, destroying a single moment of anger is equivalent to vanquishing or destroying all the force, external force. Because just by eliminating the external enemy, one may eliminate one's enemy, one enemy, and then he has 100 friends. You will have 100 enemies. And then likewise, again these 100 people have supporters. And then again like this, supporters, it becomes endless. Then we are playing a child's game like this. Endless, kind of game is. So mainly, we are, tend to believe, there is something out there, not realizing its own, not realizing the involvement of the many factors. We believe something out there is the real cause and the fundamental cause and the only cause. Actually, you feel the pain from one's own side, we also involved in the harmers. The harmer also involved, the harmers, or the one who is receiving the pain, he is also involved in receiving the pain, because it is his or her physical aggregates, which physical aggregates on which the pain is being inflicted. So, and the karmic, from another angle, the karmic imprints, the karma is happening. The karma is happening, and again the stick involved, the weapons involved. Somebody may harm you, and then the harm can be either verbal harm, somebody may inflicted with the pain, or whether it be whether that harm can be in the form of verbal harm, physical harm, or mental harm. But of these harm, three different types of harm, the harm caused at the mental level is more disaster, more serious. In the case of the, just using some stick, maybe we can get some pain, but then it can revive. So the harm, caused at the mental level, it can linger for a very long time. Then linger for a long time, and then there is a bitterness in the heart. Bitterness in the heart. And then what happens is, then grudge, true grudge. So long as there is a grudge, it is very, the function or the mechanism of grudge is disaster. So this is how things. So this is how So this is the way it is. The thing that such things arise from conditions. I shall remain in happy frame of mind. Some people, so the practice means the practice of patience here involves when somebody tries to harm you, not let anger or hatred develop. One may someone may use harsh words against you, so you remain silent. But again, one may remain silent, but inside, if it's something burning here, although one has not responded verbally, but again, this is not enough patience. The patience means not to let anger or hatred develop, because once anger or hatred is developed, then out of anger or hatred, one may take kind of counteraction. One may then use the verbal, either verbally harm others, or physically harm others. In the act of verbally harm others, using harsh words, and then in backbiting, using harsh words, like these things. And in the case of physical actions like killing, like stealing, all this involved. So the main purpose of practice is not to even though some the perpetrators may cause or inflict harm upon you, but remain in a happy frame of mind. So here is the, I shall remain in a happy frame of mind. Now how can the happy frame of mind comes? By thinking that such things arise from conditions. Because when there is a happy frame, because as long as anger or hatred or destructive emotions take place, there is no way to have a room for developing a happy frame of mind. Because normally we can talk about on the one hand we can talk about the positive qualities of the mind, like compassion, generosity, patience, forgiveness, like these things on the one hand, and then on the other hand we can talk about the destructive emotions, like anger, hatred, all these things. Now with these two, reducing or ensuring that hatred and destructive emotions not arises within you is one method for having a happy, one method for leading a happy life. Now how can we be sure that because we all know that the anger, the destructive emotions, all these are, some people have a whole lot of work to do every day. And then there is a stress, depression, like these things. Again, anger and these things, adding to these things, making worse. So, by minimizing or reducing the destructive emotions is the best way to remain a peaceful state of mind or happy frame of mind, because it is the very destructive emotion which spoils the very peace of mind. We know, because everybody, a whole lot of people already know, the moment one gets anger, no sleep, no enjoying food. So this is, we can tell it from one's own experience. No detailed reasoning is necessary to prove as such. And now on the other hand, love, compassion, because the love or the compassion is developed, these things are naturally, destructive emotions are naturally minimized. The strength is naturally minimized. Likewise, when the destructive emotion is dramatically reduced, and there is the room for developing the compassion and positive qualities of the mind. If both of them remains at the same level, then it's difficult to have a kind of satisfying life, leading a satisfying life. Now, if we look at the many of the problems do not come without causes and conditions. If the things, if the pleasurable experiences and unpleasurable experiences, if these, experiences, arises without causes and conditions, then it's okay. Then all sentient beings do not want happiness, do not want suffering. All sentient beings aspire happiness. Then it's okay. Then we can enjoy, happiness all the time. But that is not the case. That is not the case. People do not want, suffering, want happiness, and do not want suffering. But due to, realizing the reality, then they single out one cause. That this is the only cause. This is the only cause which land me in unpleasant situation. So likewise, when there is when you face some kind of pleasant situations, then again we have a tendency to say that this is the cause, this is the only cause which makes me happy. So if we begin to analyze all things, then we begin to appreciate the involvement of the many factors. Now what happens? We come to know, or things come into being purely as a result of the aggregation of many factors. Now if we come to know, what's the point? The point is now again, there is a less kind of anger and hatred directed towards only one person, Then, for example, the perpetrator may hit you with a stick or shot a gun, somewhere your body, and then if one come to understand the involvement of the many factors, then there is hardly any chances for developing a hatred or anger towards that perpetrator. And now, who it is, it is. Because the person himself, the perpetrator himself, has no control. He is under the domination or under the power of the afflictions, ignorance. And he has no motivation right from the rising up early in the morning. He has no motivation to bring or cause some trouble. But then, under the power and under the influence of the afflictions, number one. Number two is, many factors are involved. His stick. It is actually, if we were to, feel anger or hatred, we should develop an anger towards the stick, because it is the very stick which causes you pain. And then that person, your own karma is happening at such a time, at such a place. And this is, you have created a karma, kind of karma to receive the pain on that particular time, on that particular time, that particular day, and that particular place. And also, if he were to really get angry towards the perpetrator, you also come to such a place. In the first place, why do we come to such a place, which makes appropriate, which makes suitable for the perpetrator to harm you? First, you come at the right place, and then the perpetrator also take the chance to use the stick, and also it is the stick which causes you pain. It is his hand which causes you the pain. It is his, it is his strength which causes you the pain. It is it is his physical strength which causes you the pain. It is his clothes, wearing clothes, which causes you the pain, because that person cannot be a stupid person. He cannot come into the naked, to harm you. He has to wear all the clothes. So that clothes also, in a way, contributing factors for receiving the pain. So whole lot of things are involved. Now, the although the perpetrator may harm oneself, but at the same time, now we say we cannot develop anger towards that person. Now we say if we cannot develop an anger towards that person, perpetrator, does it mean we have to develop anger towards those sticks, clothes, physical strength, emotions? Again, no. The answer is no. Because when we try to explain the disadvantages of the destructive emotion, especially here in this case is the hatred or anger, because it is the mechanism and the functions of the anger alone, which brings unpleasant result irrespective of the external conditions. So one time, there was one man. He was in Tibet, in Tibet. He was repairing some kind of his car. His car, and then developed some problem. Then he was trying to fix it, and then he accidentally his head stuck on the one iron, and then he was so he lost his temper more, and then he stuck it 2 times. So like this, so no use, Finally he has to some wound come and then go to hospital. So normally, if we look at the things, situations, at the situations, but then there is a wrong notion or false notion that strength, physical strength is very important for fighting, for showing the courage, and then they don't know what's going to happen in the next. And then collapsed. Then fighting took place. And then fighting took place. Then what happens in those cases? Go to hospital, all the money is so like these things. So that's why so this is the idea of His Holiness to promote the secular ethics from the kindergarten to the university level. Otherwise, right now the education, the modern education is only for brain development, not focus on how to not compassion on when some problem take place, how to solve it through dialogue, how to solve it through understanding, and then from the someone, for example, the president of any countries, also communist countries, they get the education right from the kindergarten. That education is only for the only for brain development, and then as they grow older and older, so much of their education is based on this only brain development. So that's why, and then when the problems arises between the countries, even at the family level to the national, international level, the first is when something goes wrong, using force, using guns, killing, stealing, like all these things, guns. So that's why, so that's why these things due to the what is known as called as lack of moral ethics in modern society. So this is, I think, very, very true. As a result of which, in some still the problem continues. So the best method is without any touching religion, more sophisticated philosophy, just the promotion of the secular ethics, for the promotion of secular ethics becomes important, very important to have a compassionate and compassionate society.